running with that the whole time? Yeah, sure am. Good morning, YouTube. What's up, everybody? I hope you're safe and healthy and happy and doing okay. Today we are going to be talking about the Asics Magic Speed 3. I literally just finished a 5K race in this shoe right here, and I also have another like 4-mile run in it, so about 7-8 miles at this point. The Magic Speed line has never really been my favorite Asics line. I didn't really like the Magic Speed 1. I think I ran in the Magic Speed 2 like once, didn't like it, didn't review it. And now here we are again in the Magic Speed 3. So not to spoil the review right off the bat, but I will say that there are some significant changes here that make me like this shoe more than I have in the past. But is it good enough to get into my actual rotation of shoes? That's what we're gonna talk about today. But first, you gotta sit through the run race footage. Before we get started today, I do want to let you know that this shoe was sent to me by Asics and Running Warehouse. However, they're not going to see this video before you. They can't tell me what to say, and all of my opinions are completely and always my own. Starting with the upper here, Asics is using a technology that they're calling motion wrap. I think it's an engineered mesh. It's pretty lightweight and actually breathable through that forefoot. In the midfoot, there's really no overlays at all except for this Asics logo, but I don't think it's doing much. If we go to the heel counter though, it is pretty sturdy and it does lock my heel in place. So like I said, this is pretty breathable from my experience with the shoe. It has been super hot here the past week on Long Island in New York, and I have actually, can't believe I'm saying this, felt some air. Doesn't even feel like there's air outside, but some air has been passing through this upper, which I think is an improvement upon the last few versions. I don't exactly remember how I felt about the Magic Speed 1's upper, but I know for a fact that this is absolutely lighter and just hands down gonna be more breathable than that. As you might have noticed in my running footage, I said this might not be true to size. Interestingly enough, I didn't ask for an 11, a women's 11, but that's what Asics sent me here, and it fits me like a glove. I think a 10.5 would be too small, so perhaps if you're looking to get this shoe, you might want to look into going a half size up. I'm able to get a really good fit. I like the lockdown across the midfoot. The tongue is soft, it's very thin, and it is gusseted to both sides, so it just helps to wrap right around your foot. And I do appreciate that while this is supposed to be a tempo shoe, it's really more of like a super trainer, so they do have a nice amount of padding, not a ton, just enough around the ankle collar. Turning the shoe over this way, I would say it is kind of narrow in the midfoot. Doesn't matter for me because I have a narrow foot. But if you have a wide foot, maybe something to look out for. It does open up a bit in the forefoot though, and my toes do have a nice amount of room to breathe and kind of do what they want to do. I had absolutely no issues with hot spots, blisters, or irritation in the Magic Speed 3, so the upper is something that I am kind of digging. So now that we got the upper out of the way, let's move down to the midsole. I believe new for the third version is 2 layers of Flight Foam Blast Plus, try saying that 3 times fast. And sandwiched in between those 2 layers of FF Blast Plus, we have a full-length carbon fiber plate. So like I said, I did 2 runs in this shoe, both very different runs, but the first one I did was a moderate to easier run just to see how the shoe would perform in that setting. And then today was a 5K race where I tried to mostly go as hard as I could. I figured this would be a really good shoe to test in that scenario because it is a little bit lower to the ground than a lot of the other super shoes slash super trainers that I have. When I wore this shoe for my moderate to easy run, I really didn't like it at all. No surprise there. It felt too firm to me, maybe too aggressive, and that's kind of to be expected since you're really supposed to go a little bit quicker in this shoe. I just felt like I couldn't get into a rhythm. I'm sure somebody out there would have just a fine time going a little bit easier in this, but I think for me today in the 5K, I really saw what this shoe can do. Because this shoe feels lower stack, you are able to feel that plate more. I definitely felt the plate propelling me forward. I felt that drop off in the forefoot here when I'd get up on my toes, and it was able to get me turning over despite it being extremely humid outside. In that sense, for a shorter workout, a shorter race, I can see getting the Magic Speed 3 and utilizing it that way. However, I really don't think that this foam feels exciting, and in other super trainers in this category, there are shoes that just have a little bit more of an exciting feel underfoot. So that was a little bit disappointing. It kind of feels like a standard foam is working with this plate. I'm not getting any like pop or wow sensation, and I think at this point in the game, that's sort of expected for this kind of shoe. Another bone that I have to pick with it that might be just personal to me is I feel like this shoe is too firm. Maybe I'm a cushion snob, like too much cushioning under my foot, but at this point I think I'm spoiled, and no matter what the distance is, I want a little bit of give there. That springs back with the plate. Really, it was just like the plate pushing me forward rather than like the foam working with the plate. I don't think I could take this long distance. It would be too harsh of a ride, and certainly it just wouldn't be my first choice for a super trainer kind of shoe. If you're a runner who's looking for a super trainer or a trainer in general that has a little less stack, then this is a good option somewhere to look. It's just not quite enough for me. That being said, I don't think that this shoe was made for me. I think this was made for the runner who wants a little bit less cushion in their shoe and wants to feel more connected with the ground and have that more aggressive feel that some other super trainers and super shoes just don't have because they're just stacked up with all this cushioning. And I think that's totally valid. And one person's trash, I don't want to say trash because this is not trash at all, but one person's pass is another person's smash. I don't know. Turning this shoe over this way, Asics is using Asics grip for rubber. You got some in the forefoot, and you got a nice exposed midfoot area with that carbon plate sticking out, and some rubber in the heel. This rubber is fantastic. I feel like it grips onto the pavement really nice. It's got that teethy, bitey feeling to it, and I was going a little bit faster today than normal, and it kept me upright, kept me feeling confident, and I ran on pavement mostly, but also on some grass and some track, and it did just fine. So I always pretty much like Asics outsoles. That's no different here. The Asics Magic Speed 3 is $159.95 on runningwarehouse.com, which is, I believe, a little less than the other super trainers out there on the market. So if you're looking for a shoe with a little more value that's got a carbon plate, maybe this is where you should look. If you're interested in picking up a pair of the Magic Speed 3, I will link them down below in the description of this video. Just go to that description, click that link, and pick up your own pair. Keep in mind, this is an affiliate link with Running Warehouse. However, it doesn't mean much for you. It just helps out my channel so I can keep making these videos. As for me, I don't think that I'm really going to be spending much time in the Magic Speed 3. I'm glad that I gave them a chance and tried to see what they were all about after having not such great experiences in the previous versions. I definitely see improvements here. I just don't know if the Magic Speed will ever be a shoe that I enjoy because of its lower profile and firmer ride. But one thing that is for me is this colorway. It is beautiful. She is beauty. She is grace. And I wish that more shoes looked this way. Nice, clean, sleek looking shoe. Well, everyone, that concludes my first impressions of the Asics Magic Speed 3. If you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and subscribe. And when you're done with all that, hit the notification bell so you can find out every time I upload a new video. Have you tried the Magic Speed 3? Do you like it? Do you like the firmer ride? Let me know in the comments down below. I have another video for you next week, but in the meantime, get out there, get on the grind, and don't forget to run like heller. See you next time.